let's go film breakdown, video analysis, some takeaways from that Ravens loss. So you start with the defense in that front seven. So take us through that and what you think it means moving forward as well.
Well, you're going to see these guys. Watch the linebackers. Bush is right there and Delpit's outside. And you're going to see Bush attack the fullback, and you're going to see Delpit, who attacks with the correct shoulder, which is his left shoulder, which allows him to set the edge. And as you watch Schlesinger next to him and Diabate next to them, you'll see how they run downhill on a proper angle, taking things on with the correct shoulders and kind of funneling things into each other. And this is the thing you're seeing with this front seven. This is also where Delpit's at his best, down in the box. And, Delpit talked a big game, and he did very, very well. And hopefully the secondary, again, I don't think the secondary is as bad as they played. They had some technique issues. They had some issues with leverage. But I think those things will get worked out. Jim Schwartz is a very good defensive coordinator. But the point of this is, as you watch the defensive linemen, as you watch all these guys, they're all running. And no matter what happens, if you run on defense at any level of football, you have a chance to be really good. So my biggest takeaway is always a positive. In this front seven on defense, not only have they been good on paper, they've been really good throughout the preseason and the first two games.
Well, and you have a good quarterback that they'll face in Jordan Love, and he's kind of ascending. But Jordan Love isn't Lamar Jackson, and he's not Joe Burrow. So he can be sped up.
Well, and once again, and they don't have a Zay Flowers. They do not have a Jamar Chase. They're okay. They have some pretty good tight ends. Tucker Kraft's a pretty good tight end. But this is once again, it's about matchups. And once again, last week, if they don't have mistakes, they'd be in that football game. They'd get physically handled. I've said that to people. There's a difference between getting physically handled in a game and making mistakes in a game. Now, the scoreboard's the only thing that counts. But the Browns aren't getting physically handled, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They just got to limit the mistakes and make sure they protect that defense.
Well, and this next one, your second takeaway, special teams are as much to blame as the offense, and they've been pitiful the first 2 weeks. There's no other adjective.
Well, and not only that, they've as you see this, you're going to see Hickman here. So the problem is with Hickman is you see they overload to that side. So there's 5 to that side. So the couple things have to happen here. One is I'm going to blame it on the coach, and I always, as a coach, always take the blame. So Hickman should not be stepping up as a safety, filling a gap, and taking on a backer who's bigger than him. So I think they should slide inside, have him go outside. But these guys are pros, and they're good at it, and that's the problem. But then it's his technique. So as he gets there, we used to tell our guys, if you get run over, great, the punt will get off. So as he comes up, you're going to see him take it on. He does not get square with this defender. So he's got to reduce the amount of space between him and the defender, and he's got to make sure he takes him on square so the defender, who's bigger than him, doesn't run through his shoulder. So I do not like who he's blocking here because the guy's bigger than him, and I do not like his technique. Those are things that can be fixed. But these special teams, I said it all week. They made every kick and punted the ball well, and they were atrocious on special teams. So this is something that you get picked up. I will say this. The positive is they had everybody picked up. They didn't have any free runners. They just got beat physically.
Yeah, so in week 1 against the Bengals, it's missed kicks. In week 2, it's a block punt. It's a short field. The return game wasn't great. Obviously, the concussion to Carter hurt. But you know what? It's still it's a third of the game, and they got bludgeoned in that third of the game by the Ravens.
Well, you know what? And you made a really good point about the returner, Hunter. So they have not had an impact returner. So once again, so you have an offense that's struggling. So you get no yards from your returners on both kick returns and punt returns, and then you get no turnovers from the defense. And I'm not saying anything bad about the defense because they are holding this team together. But if they can get some turnovers and create some short fields, and they can get some big returns and create some short fields, that offense will be a lot better.
All right, the third takeaway, Browns need to simplify as much as possible to set up players for success. Take us through that.
Well, as you watch these guys, you're going to see, first of all, you're going to see they're going to run a stunt here, and the linebacker is going to come, and as you watch Posick and you watch Teller, they slide left and they should slide right. And what I don't understand, and now you got a pin and pull. Again, now Posick, you're going to see here, Posick's got to look inside for Roquan Smith, and obviously he might not block him. Now let's take a look here. You can see Posick, he goes left, and Teller goes left. And when they go left, that means Roquan Smith is now on Sampson, who just gets outmatched. So that's scheme. That's not good. You got to slide that right. Now pin and pull, they got 8-9 in the box, so the big thing about this one is they got to make sure they get to the right guys, but you have to make sure that you set your guys up for success and block the correct guys. And Roquan Smith had way too many run-throughs. So the Browns are really struggling about getting to the second level. They're also struggling with making sure that the matchups they get fit the guys that are doing it. So that first one, more than this one, that first one bothers me because that's putting a lot of pressure on a rookie who's undersized to block an all-pro linebacker. And all they got to do, because that guy's inside on Teller, all they have to do is slide that right because they're in an even front. And that they didn't do that, and they've had a number of those where they're just not blocking their correct guy or they're setting their guys up for failure.
And again, we're looking at the offensive line, and I would assume this is stuff that can be corrected. It's based on scheme and assignment. So to me, that means it can be corrected somewhat.
Yeah, and like you said, let's go through this again. So if you look at this, once again, as the center is going to block to his left, you see kind of Joe Petonio look over to him, and I think he wants to slide it right because there's your threat. Your threat is that backer coming, and you want linemen to block linebackers and linemen. You don't want backs. You want backs to block out. You want backs to, well, obviously, especially a guy like Sampson, he cannot pick up big linebackers. That's not his strength. So again, making sure that you block the correct people and make sure you set your guys up for failure. It's not about what your guys can't do. Everybody can't do something. It's about what guys can do. And what Sampson can do is catch the ball in space and create some yards. What he can't do is block a 230-pound linebacker who plays even heavier than that. And then obviously this run through, they just got to make sure they get things ironed out. The offensive line, the three guys inside played a lot better. They're veterans. They did do better. Everybody's saying they're slow. That's not it. The tackles are playing very, very poor, and it's kind of showing on them as well. The tackles have to play better.
Yeah, you might want to take that 71 off of a tackle based on the way the last two have played wearing that number.